Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment, subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon for notifications. Excuse me, to know when I go live. That's what happens when I grab something quickly to eat right before a live stream. I hope everyone is having a good start to the week. Suddenly saw a surge of volume coming in because clearly the cryptocurrency market understood that I was live streaming back in my home office for the first time in several weeks. So clearly it wanted to pick up price action just for me. And I just want to say I'm very grateful to the crypto gods for allowing price action to continue moving north for this live stream. Let's see who we got in. We got Habib Ali. Dude, I like that name. What's up? We are bullish, Ryan. CBG M786WP. I have your username memorized at this point. Thank you for the continued support, everybody. Yeah, guys, this is a great time to be live streaming. We're going to be taking a look at the charts here, and something that I really wanted to remind you before I get into kind of speaking to what I'm personally seeing in the charts here, and we'll kind of speak to price action as well as volume because they both help to tell a story. Price action is king, but it's important to look at volume. I had a lot of time to myself on the road driving this weekend during the travels that I was doing, and one thing is for sure. Okay, cheers. I got a little Casamigas with a little spritz of lime. Cheers, everybody. Do you know that the NFL season, Philadelphia Eagles, the NFL season is like 8 weeks away, the start of the season? That is exciting. Believe me, I am missing me some football right now. Thumbs up to everyone new tuning in. I appreciate the support. Brian, we're going to get to your comment. Glad to see you in here, brother. We're going to get to your comment because I just liked a tweet from one of my fellow crypto brothers on Twitter, and we're going to take a look at what he had tweeted out. On a related note, I'm jumping all over the place today. I'm very excited to be back in the home office today. I was missing the home office. But on a related note, I am in talks with getting my first I've spoken to the fact I wanted to get some collaboration on this channel, get some guests to come on to the TA since I'm live streaming every day. You guys could use a break from hearing from me, quite frankly. So I am in the works of getting somebody on here in 2 weeks. Someone who's technical analysis I'm a little newer to in the past several months looking at his charts, and I think he does a very nice job. So yeah, I think there's a handful of people I'd like to collaborate to the extent possible, so we're working on the specifics there, but I'm very excited to have him on the channel potentially in a couple weeks coming up here, so make sure that you look out for that. But what I wanted to get to is on the drive actually back to my place specifically, I had a lot of time to myself, and I was listening to a lot of different YouTube channels, a lot of different, if you want to call them, podcasts. And I will say this after listening to a lot of different channels. There's a couple things that are very, very evident to me that I felt convinced of before, and I feel further convinced. Number one, everyone is anticipating a Fed rate increase. And I'm not going to go into, we went in depth on this channel on pauses in interest rates and increases in interest rates and decreases in interest rates. Just from a data and chart perspective, what does it mean for equities? What happens when we pause? And crypto, what does it mean when we pause interest rates? You know, what is the most likely direction for interest rates at this point? We've spoken ad nauseum about this, okay? But it is extremely evident that most people, for fundamental reasons stated, are saying that the Fed is going to go with 2 rate increases this year. And you know that I'm on record saying, no, I don't think that's going to happen at all. In fact, because we've paused, historically speaking, based on 70 years of empirical data, there's an extremely high probability that the next course of action is going to be a rate decrease, okay? And that more than likely, over the next several months, we will remain paused at our current interest rate levels. I've spoken all about that. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens this month. And again, this is all based on probabilities. Could the Federal Reserve decide to increase interest rates? Sure, they could. There's a probability for it. It's just really small. Second thing that has become increasingly apparent to me, guys, and I just want you to keep this in mind moving forward this year. I am extremely excited. Good to see you too, Kayleen. Thank you for tuning in. I haven't seen your name in a while. Good to see you. Something else that I am keenly aware of is what the majority of people are saying in this space that comment on cryptocurrency, what they see happening for Bitcoin. There are really two main trains of thought right now, okay? And they all center around a 4-year cycle. The majority of people, without question, believe that Bitcoin is going to go on this 4-year cycle where, we basically see prices at this point maybe go a little higher, kind of stagnate, and then go into the halvening, increase in value, and then we get an all-time high at some point after that, and we ultimately top out sometime in 2025. Okay, that's when we're going to get a blow off top. That is the consensus. But as it pertains to this year, also, so the predominant thought process is 4-year cycle. That is literally what I feel like 95% of people are saying. Okay. In that 4-year cycle camp, you have two different sides. You have side one, which thinks that we've actually already topped out. It's gonna be extremely boring for the next 6 months. Okay. Side two is we have a little bit higher to go. We're gonna get up into that low to mid $40,000 range before we have a major correction within the market. And what I would want to bring to your attention, if you've been subscribed here for a while, consistently the message that I've been putting out is one of the minority, okay? And that is, I think I officially sort of gave my viewpoint in October of last year, at least officially on record in a published video, and that was that Bitcoin would see new all-time highs and a blow-off top in 2023. And I've acknowledged that maybe I'm off by a few months. We still see new all-time highs this year. Maybe the blow-off top goes into next year. But my main hypothesis is all-time highs this year, blow-off top this year, okay? And what I really want you guys to think about is a herd mentality, right? That most people, and I was listening, I don't know if you guys know who Bob Lucas, I think his name is Bob Lucas. He put out a published video. That was one of the videos I was listening to. He raised a really interesting point that I've hit on this channel plenty of times. And that is that his view on a 4-year cycle, his 4-year cycle journey, and the 4-year cycle story, this narrative, it's being regurgitated and regurgitated and regurgitated and regurgitated, right? There's a lot of people that believe in this 4-year cycle that have absolutely no fucking clue what the underlying fundamental thesis is for that 4-year cycle theory, but they're regurgitating that narrative because they've heard it so many different times from their prominent YouTube superstars with 5 million subscribers on their channel, okay? And what I would offer you is this thought. The market is not going to do what most people expect, okay? Will the market do what I expect? I don't know, but I feel convicted about it, and it's certainly a minority opinion. I could be way off. Something completely different could happen and throw me by surprise. However, what I would really want to challenge your thought process in is the following fact. Most people have a TV script for the next 4 years. I keep saying this over and over again. They have a movie script, a TV script for the next several years. It's not going to happen that way, guys. It's not going to happen that way. I could be proven wrong. I'm very open to that idea because I've been wrong before, I've been right before, but it is not going to follow the scripted view that most of your YouTubers and Twitter personas believe. It's just not going to. Markets don't work like that, guys. They don't, okay? Something is going to be invalidated based on the majority, whether it's the all-time high top sort of price range and Bitcoin's going to underwhelm, or Bitcoin's going to super overwhelm and go much higher than most people think. The timing's going to be off. Something, it's not going to work the way most people think, okay? There was another thought that I wanted to put in there, but this is what happens when you get older in life. You forget your thoughts. Brian said that he's not against the halving narrative, to be honest, but people are very complacent about it. I agree. Brian, that's actually a word that I haven't used for this, but people are really complacent about this 4-year halving cycle story. They just feel like all of a sudden they're geniuses and they know exactly what the market's going to do every 4 years for Bitcoin and crypto. It does not work like that. This is what I wanted to say, and then we're going to move on. We're going to take a look at the charts here in a second. Part of me part of me is just really excited to see how this plays out over the course of the next 5 to 6 months, especially this month, because I'm anticipating this month to be a very big month. And I'm going to have to revisit things if it's not, okay? I'm anticipating this month to be a big month. But I'm very anxious and excited to see how this year is going to go, not just because, I want to see gains in my portfolio and, see that materialize itself in investment gains, but I have an educated, logical, grounded thesis in what I believe will occur in the markets. And what I'm really anxious to see is, all this work that I put in, all this energy that I put in, is this educated view going to pan out to generally be correct? Again, I'm not looking to call an exact top on an exact day, but is the general thought process on the stock market and crypto topping out around the same time that I'm talking about, whether it's late this year or at the latest early next year, does that end up being correct? I'm very anxious and excited to see if this does pan out, because it is going to throw so many people off if it does. It really will. All right, let's get into the charts now, because we are seeing volume kick up. It would be nice on a live stream if we actually saw the definitive break of 31,000, which we haven't seen here. One thing that I want to call to your attention that I had just tweeted out here is this point, okay? We have to keep in mind one of the most basic premises of technical analysis that I've called out on this channel many a times is the more that we hit resistance, the more it weakens, okay? Just like the more we hit a ground on support, actually the more it weakens and the greater the probability that we're going to fall. Okay, I want you to walk away knowing there are two stories created here. Number one, 31,000 is a major area of resistance. We're having a lot of problems getting through it. Number two is every time we punch up towards it, that ceiling is getting weaker and weaker, okay? That's why I would not be surprised. That's why based on the volume coming in especially, I wasn't going to be surprised one bit if we actually broke it during the live stream, which unfortunately it may not happen during the live stream. But another thing that I want you to pay particular attention to is the volume profile. Look at this huge red volume here and look at the huge wick. What this is expressing to us is seller exhaustion. On this candlestick, which occurred at the very end of June, we came all the way down to 29,600, but it got eaten up by buyers. That's what this price wick represents. Price went all the way down from 30,000 roughly 500 to 29,600, and it got eaten up by buyers. There is a lot of support here. What that's telling me, there's a lot of support at 29,600. And you guys know, we're looking at a 12-hour chart. How many times have I told you on this channel the historical significance of the 12-hour chart and the 200 simple moving average? If we were to fall in value, I would strongly suspect, based on probabilities, I can sound smart, based on statistics, that if we gravitate towards this zone, this is going to be a bounce zone, okay? I've spoken about that way too many times in the past. You guys should know this by now. Thumbs up for everyone new tuning in if you appreciate it. Thumbs up if you're appreciating some bullish momentum coming in. Now, what I want to do is something that we typically don't do on this channel. I want to go to a very low time frame, and I want you to take a look at what's going on with price action. You can see this candle here. This is a 5-minute chart. Look at the 5-minute chart. Look at the volume coming in. You're seeing as soon as we try to get past 31,000, heavy volume coming in, heavy sell pressure coming in. We cannot break 31,000. It just doesn't want to get through. Guys, when you see a 5-minute candle come in with green volume and we punch through 31,000, let's take a moment to talk about what the next key area of resistance is, and then we're going to get to Brian's comment about the Bollinger Bands because it's a very good one on the daily. Once you see some volume and follow through and we break 31,000, I want to take you to the weekly. I see a lot of white space. I see a lot of white space between roughly 31,000. We're going to call it's really 31,800, but we're going to call it 32,000. And really, we've been punching up towards this 31,000, 31,500 zone. Once we clear the $31,000 zone and you see Bitcoin past 32,000, the next area of resistance, in my opinion, based on price confluence, looking at the weekly, it's not all the way up here till 35,500. So what I'm trying to convey to you, okay, is that once we punch through that 31,000, 32,000 area, we're going to make a giant 10% plus move, in my opinion. Okay, we're going to punch all the way up to 35,500 plus. I've had this orange box on here for a reason. I really, really want for the month of July to get not only touch this region, I want to close somewhere up here. Did you hear what I just said? I want for the month of July, which is in 3 weeks, I want Bitcoin to close between 35,500 and 43,000. If we can get a monthly close up in this area, we are sitting very, very pretty to start to go much, much higher potentially in the coming months, okay? Another thing I want to point out to you on the weekly chart here, kind of revise the RSI line. I have it at about 70. Once you see the RSI on the 70 start to be cleared, okay, so the relative strength index on the weekly starts to clear 70. Historically, when we've done that, if we go to the past here, you can kind of see a little bit here. You can see here when we went to new all-time highs there. You can see all through this run here, even back here and even here. But when we start to clear 70, we should see some significant moves in the market. And you can see here back in April when we went all the way up here into this red zone of resistance we haven't been able to clear. We went all the way up to 69.6 and we could not clear 70, right? So we really want to start to clear 70 on the relative strength index. Now, I want to get to the daily Bollinger Band comment because that is something I wanted to comment. Okay, I wanted to get to the comments, but I see we have a, yes, we need to, I don't know what this is, but we are going to put person in timeout. Yes, Anna Robinson, you are in timeout. In fact, you're blocked from the channel forevermore. Bots are now joining the live stream. All right, let's get to the comment on the daily Bollinger Band. Guys, we're going to get into their projects here. You can see I have track origin trail up. We're going to get into other charts here. I can see Matic is up. But I think it's very, very important to understand the price movements in Bitcoin because what have I said many times? Bitcoin is the driver of value, right? So to the extent that Bitcoin is doing well, that's really what's going to give confidence and capital to the rest of the market. So it's very important that we understand price movements in Bitcoin first and then the altcoins secondary. There was actually a chart I wanted to draw for you. Let me see if I can... I think this is value added. This is something... I know I'm jumping around quite a bit, but this is a live stream, right? I wanted to draw something for you. Online whiteboard. I could probably just pull up like a online sketch. Just give me something quick here. Else I'm just going to draw on the chart. I was thinking of something the other day. I was listening to something and it made me think to share something with you guys so that you would really understand how the market works. So I'm going to try this. I've never used this before. Okay, it looks like it's working. Guys, this isn't going to be complicated, I promise you. So you're going to have to bear with me for a second. I mean, you tune into this channel for charts, so you should be able to follow this. Okay. This is going to be... Let me draw this out. This is going to be a very simple chart. Okay, this is an XY. You guys know are familiar with charts, right? So how to draw a basic chart. So this is your Y axis. This is your X axis. So vertical Y, horizontal X. Okay, your Y horizontal axis is risk, and your X axis, okay, down here, this is going to be time. Okay. And what I want to demonstrate to you in this very simplistic chart is what your expectation should be Let's see if I can change the color here. What your expectations should be for the market and the timing of all-time highs within the market, okay? If you appreciate me getting a little creative here, I would appreciate a thumbs up. If you hide the comments, you can actually see the thumbs up. I would really appreciate it for support. What is this? Now, I'm drawing a linear line here, an upward sloping linear line here, just for simplicity, okay? What does the yellow line represent? Yellow, okay, yellow. This is my first time using this, so bear with me here. Yellow equals all-time high, okay? So your yellow equals, this yellow upward sloping line represents all-time highs in crypto projects. So what is this telling you? What is this telling you? What it's telling you is, as your risk is lower, so when you're in this zone right here, you're like a Bitcoin, you're like an Ethereum, right? You're reaching an all-time high in a lesser amount of time, right? Maybe this is month 1, month 2, or excuse me, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. As we increase on the y-axis here, we're increasing the relative riskiness, right? So this is your Bitcoin. Okay. This is your Bitcoin. Okay. As we start to increase time several weeks out, this is something like your Harmony 1. Okay. This is for all my Harmonauts. This is your Harmony 1, right? Harmony 1, if we translate this point, this is more risky, and so it's going to take more time to appreciate to its all-time high. Bitcoin is less risky. It's going to take less time. It's less risky to get to its all-time high. Capital is going to begin to flood into riskier assets, right? So it takes more and more time for these assets to get to their all-time high. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. If it does, drop me a comment. One of my other passions in life is to teach, as I've shared on this channel. It was the other career path that I had thought about doing besides being an actuary. So drop me a comment, drop me a thumbs up if you appreciate the explanation. I would appreciate it. I would appreciate it a lot if you would do that. Now, let's get into this whole daily Bollinger Band conversation that Brian brought up, and one of my fellow crypto compadres brought up. Tony the Bull, if you're not following Tony the Bull, give him a follow. He has very logical content. I'm looking forward to catching up with him at some point to understand classes he has taken in technical analysis, because I think there's things for me to learn there from that maybe I could get enrolled in some classes and do some additional studying on top of the other studying that I have done with technical analysis. So you can see here what he's commenting on, and we're going to take a closer look at this. Bollinger Bands are the tightest on the daily since the start of 2023. Okay? So the Bollinger Bands, okay, the way to think about it, if you're not really sure what a Bollinger Band is, you got a 20 simple moving average, and there's a deviation of price above the 20 simple moving average and below the 20 simple moving average, right? So there's this standard deviation based on historical prices, and the wider it is, the more volatilities there's been, right? So there's this huge, Bollinger Band, upper band deviation, lower band deviation. The more volatility there's been, there's a lot of room, right? But as price starts to consolidate, let's say price is at $100, every day it's at $100, right? What happens is those bands, that deviation starts to decrease and it narrows because price has become very compressed and tight. It's become centered on $100. It's not at 150 and 80 and 60 and 200, so the bands are really wide. No, it's consolidated for months at $100, so the bands are real tight, right? So what he's saying here, essentially, another way to say this in layman's terms is that volatility has gotten very low. And he's saying that the Bollinger Bands are the tightest on the daily since the start of 2023. The last time they were this tight, we had a 40% move up. Very good observation here, something I have. And this is why, Guys, I never offer financial advice on this channel. I'm just doing my due diligence and evaluating the charts and sharing the information with you. It's why you should never rely on my technical analysis as a thesis for your own investments, right? Number one, you got to do your own education and research. That's the most important thing. Number two, you have to utilize other technicians in this space. I haven't brought this up. This guy's bringing it up. It's a good observation. It's something I haven't spoken about. Great point. Hence why I liked it and retweeted it. Another 40% higher move would take us to 42,000. Take a look at the Bollinger Bands. You see how the bands, the upper and lower line here, are getting very, very tight and compressed. That's what he's talking about. Okay? And I believe the 40% move he's referring to, I would guess, although he hasn't pointed it out. See how tight the Bollinger Bands were in here? We moved up from this like 15,000 range all the way up to about $25,000. So I'm assuming that's the move he's talking about. We're compressed right now. So what this is telling us is, what that's telling me as a TA person, there's an increased probability that there's going to be a break up in price or a break down in price. So we will have to keep an eye on that. By the way, I don't think I stated this at the top of the live stream, but you can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on TradingView, even Instagram and YouTube. It's all one word. It is Crypto Bull God. Other charts I want to take a look at. Let's see what other... Oh, man, I'm getting a lot of bots coming in here. Yes. Getting a lot of bots. What's up, Track? Glad to see you in the live stream. Glad to see you. Real quick, I wanted to take a look at Track, and we're going to take a look at some other charts here. But you can see for Track, we're having a nice day here. What are we up? Let's see. We're up currently 11%. Okay, we're up 11% on Track. I have definitive areas of resistance painted here, shown here. You can see I really want to see us get above 30 cents. We got 40 cents and 45 cents. This is on the weekly. Other things I would note on this chart, RSI, we're still way oversold at 47. A lot of room to run on the RSI. What I like to see, one of the things, and I forgot to point this out on the weekly Bitcoin, by the way, we got a cross back up, a bullish cross back up on the MACD weekly on Bitcoin, which was good to see. I didn't point that out. Forgot to point that out to you, but note that. The other thing that's really good to see on Track here is, on a related comment, you can see that the MACD is starting to flatten and want to curl up, okay? The last time we had significant move up on the MACD was back in this area here, where we moved up from about 16 cents all the way up to 53 cents. So we'll have to see what sort of price action we can anticipate on the weekly. The other thing that's nice to see on the weekly, down here, if you look at the stochastic RSI, see how the 23.13 in blue is over the 20.65. That's what we want to see. That is a bullish cross on the stochastic RSI. The other thing that it serves as confirmation for is that it's above the 20 trigger line. That's the other thing you want to look for on stochastic RSI. It's not just the blue above the orange, but you want to see that we're above the 20 trigger line. So very good bullish price action picking up on Track. I hold a decent amount of Track, so we'll have to see some follow through here. What would I like to see, real quick, before we get off this USD chart? What would I like to see in Track? I'd like to see us definitively break 30 cents. Let's get back above 30 cents, and I'm going to start pushing towards this 40 cent area, okay? That's what I want to see. You can see, and I had tweeted this out before, just focus on price action. This is one of the more beautiful BTC relativity charts. This is the Track BTC relativity chart. Okay, Track BTC relativity chart. And you can see we had this nice rounding bottom followed by follow through. We hit a new all-time high back here, and we've been consolidating in this area. I'll be very interested to see if we can break to new all-time highs on the Track BTC relativity chart. But this is one of the more attractive relativity charts, and so what that tells me is Track has retained a decent amount of strength relative to Bitcoin as compared to other altcoins, so that's good to see. Now, I know one of the other altcoins that was moving that we want to take a look at here, and I know Track had pointed this out, as well as myself at the start of the live stream, and that was Matic. Let's take a look at what Matic is doing on the USD, because right now it's making a pretty large move at 8%, which is a large move for where the market cap is sitting at. I believe it's sitting at number 12. I had come out here many months ago and said that Polygon was going to move into the top 10. Ding, ding, ding. We did do that. I made an even bolder call and said that Track would break into the top 5. Still waiting for that. Even with the bullshit tyrant fucktard Gary Gensler news. Remember, Gary Gensler, that is not his name. He legally changed his name once he became a fucktard. He legally changed his name to Gary Tyrant Fucktard Gensler. So that's what you have to call him now, okay? That's his full name. He would appreciate that. He came out with the securities news and labeled Matic, Polygon, and every other single cryptocurrency project a security because he can. He's got a he's got a small man syndrome. So he came out and labeled a lot of things as securities. That's what he can do because he's in a position of power, that tyrant fucktard. But right now, what is going on the weekly Matic chart right now is we're clearly pressing up. I haven't redrawn this chart at all. This is pre-existing from prior areas of price confluence. You can see there's a couple things I wanted to point out here. Now, the MACD is flattening out on the weekly. We could take a look at price indicators. You know, stochastic RSI is 28 over 21, which is great. But I really want to focus on the price action because for anyone who is invested in Matic like myself, I think it's very important, especially after seeing this large drop in price, which I didn't see coming. I did not see a large drop in price like this coming, okay? And I'm not going to blame it on the SEC news, okay? It is what it is. It happened. It's TA and charting. And I'm not going to, it's not a cop-out. I'm not going to use a cop-out that the SEC came out with news and, this drop happened and that's what. No, I mean, it's all in the charts, like I said. Like I always say. And the thing to keep in mind of what I'm trying to point to here is, look, what do we have here? We have higher lows, right? Look at this low down here. This was printed all the way back in June. While a lot of altcoins were either printing double bottoms or hitting new all-time lows, Matic printed a bottom in June, by the way. It didn't even print a new low in November, okay? Like many of the other altcoins did. It printed a low in June at around 32 cents, okay? It proceeded to drop here all the way to 50 cents. 50 cents, guys, is much higher than 32 cents. Much higher, okay? So I don't want you to keep track. I don't want you to lose track of the fact that we printed a new higher low here, okay? And right now, we're just pressing up against this resistance at 75 cents. I would suspect when 75 cents, there's another area of resistance here. When 75 cents breaks, the next, that's obvious, right? Look at the areas of price confluence here. Look at this, right? There's another area of price confluence right around 95 cents. So when 75 cents breaks on Polygon Matic, expect 95 cents to come pretty quickly, in my opinion, okay? And once that happens, keep in mind, all we've done, we fell all the way down here, and once we come all the way up, we've erased this entire loss, right? This market, guys, again, if you're attempting to day trade this market or think you can outsmart it, and you're just going to swing trade a lot of these crypto assets, and you know what you're doing, I'm just telling you, 95% of you are going to get 90% of you are going to get your asses handed to yourself. 5% of you will do and the other maybe 5% of you will do either okay or really well if you're an experienced trader. But this market is extremely hard to day trade. The best thing that you can do, based on my experience of being in this market since early 2018, the best thing, and educating myself since 2017, the best thing that you can do in this market is use technical analysis to aid you in an investment strategy. That is what I do for myself, right? I've spoken to plenty of projects that go, 5% lower, 10% lower than an area that I originally signaled, or maybe I have a golden buy zone and it goes to the lower area, or maybe it wicks a little below it. But at the end of the day, as long as you're using technical analysis to identify smart buy zones and you're laddering into your positions and exercising risk tolerance, it's going to benefit you in the long term. That is the main thing that I would take away from this. It's not getting too cute. and thinking that you can outsmart the market, because you will not outsmart the market. I promise. That is one thing I will guarantee and promise you on this channel. Let's see what's going on in traditional markets. Track, I'll get to your comment here in a moment. Let's see what's going on in traditional markets. Anything? Dow is up 0.5%. The S&P 0.25%. The dollar's down at 102. The NASDAQ is relatively flat. So there isn't anything to report on in traditional markets, really. I mean, real quick, what I do want to comment on, because it's very important for you guys to understand what's going on in traditional markets, because again, I like to repeat a lot of the same things over and over again, because I really want to hammer home on important topics. And one of the subject matters that you guys really need to be familiar with is crypto. As it stands today, it's the year 2023. Crypto is a risk-on asset. Crypto is lumped together, right? It's all one asset class, right? For now it is. That'll change in the future. But crypto is one asset class. It's a very risk-on asset. So if it's a risk-on asset, there's no way that crypto is going to do well if the stock market is doing shitty. People are not going to put their money at risk if the stock market's going to hell, right? We need the stock market doing well for people to say, oh, wow, now's the time to get in after I've missed the 100 or 50% move in the market, and take a risk-on position, okay? Here, you can see we're well above the 43.25. This is on a monthly. Let me take a look at the weekly. I've seen the argument, by the way, guys, okay? And I'm not going to say it isn't a valid argument, because it is a valid argument. I was listening to a podcast or a YouTube video. Let's take a look at this, okay? Look at the S&P. We had roughly, I thought it was a larger drop than this for some reason, okay? We've had a 28% drop here, which isn't that bad. Maybe he was looking at the NASDAQ. 28% drop in the S&P. And since we've had a 28% rise in the S&P. And so what this individual, and I think he was more so talking about NASDAQ, because I think the numbers were 40% off the top of my head, 40% decline, 40% uptrend. He was also talking about the fact that there's only a few companies making up the largest of moves within NASDAQ. And if you actually evaluated most of the companies in the NASDAQ, you would see that they're relatively flat or slightly up. Very fair points. I don't disagree one bit. And this is why it's important. Just because I have a viewpoint, it's important to listen to contradictory viewpoints that go against what you're saying, right? What this individual was saying was, hey, and we could look at the same thing with NASDAQ. We went down 28%. We went up 28%. If you go back to the year 2000 when we had the dot-com bubble, a lot of people were excited because we had some sort of similar movement. The NASDAQ went down roughly, whatever it was, 35, 40%. It had 35, 40% move up, and then it rolled over, okay? We had the dot-com bubble, the dot-com crash, okay? Very valid point. I don't disagree one bit, and I haven't done that much of an analysis on it that I could comment to something to the contrary. I think the point just as it's stated on the surface without any other information, very valid, okay? So I think it's very important to note in this case when looking at the S&P, we've dropped 28%, we've increased 28%, right? For me, 43.25 was a critical level. I've spoken about that many times, okay? I'm not going to regurgitate the same information. Now, what is further going to increase my level of confidence is continuing to take out these lower highs. We really want to see the S&P push above 45 to 4,600. The S&P right now is sitting at 4,400. Man, I just want to make that 2.5% move. That's all. I think that's 2.5%, isn't it? Well, actually, it'd be more than that because I want it to push up to like 4,600, so about a 4% move. So let's say 4,600 divided by 44. This is the actuary. I mean, I have to check myself. Yeah, 4%. Okay, I'm good with math. All right, 4.3%. All right, so like a 4% move. So we still, for me, you know, I feel good. I feel very good about what I'm seeing. You know, and especially when I zoom out to the monthly like we took a look at last week. But I want to see price action here get up to here. Once we start getting up to here, the level of confidence for me is increasing at a steadily rate, right? Then it's just getting up to here, and we're either going to double top or create new all-time highs like I suspect this year, okay? Again, The market is not going to do what most expect. And I've been sharing so many charts on this channel. Guys, on this channel, we've gone outside the world of cryptocurrency and not just evaluated crypto charts. We've evaluated the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones. We've looked at interest rates. We haven't looked at construction job figures yet. That's something I want to take a look at. We've looked at yield curves. These are things we've evaluated on this channel because in order to take an informed view on the market, you need a holistic view of all the data. This channel is a data-driven channel. I am a data-driven person, and I'm trying to share key charts with you. And the key charts to me are still signaling we're going to see much more upside in the stock market, a melt up and a melt up in crypto before a meltdown. I do believe there is going to be a meltdown that everyone has been talking about. But I think it's going to be a lot more harsh, and I think it's going to be at a time when most people are not seeing it coming. Think about it this way. Black swan events and crashes in the stock market. Guys, were you ever prepared for a black swan event or stock market crash? Do you know anyone that was fully prepared for a stock market crash that wasn't calling for it for 5 years and then ended up being right? Broken clock is always right twice, right? So that's the point, is that these things happen when fewest people expect it. And what I prefer to do in order to make an informed decision is not to listen to other people about what they're going to do about interest rates or what a CEO of a bank says or what CNBC says. I'd rather just look at hard data. If I have 70 years or 100 years or 50 or 30 years of price data and I can draw positive and negative correlations amongst the data that say convincingly things are going to do one thing or another, that speaks to who I am as a person, what I do every day in life, in my profession, and it speaks to just innately who I am as a person, and it's going to aid me in my investment thesis moving forward as I continue to educate myself, and I'm hoping that's what it does for you guys as well. YC, good to see you here, brother. What's going on? Well, I'll tell you what's going on, YC. We keep coming up to this $31,000 area, and Bitcoin just it keeps wanting to fake us out. Right? And I spoke to that, YC. If you missed the beginning of the live stream, catch my commentary on this $31,000 area. Sharp rejection here, but we continue to be rejected. And the more times we come up to this $31,000 area, the more likely it is that that thing is going to break at some point. Track, I'm going to get to your comment in a moment. Let's just see what else we're looking at. Bitcoin Cash is... You know, honestly, I want to take a quick look at Bitcoin Cash because I thought this thing was going to pull back, and it still might, but I thought this thing was going to pull back a little bit more than it has, to be quite honest. No, I take that back. It's actually done relatively what I thought. I might have thought we would have seen a higher degree of volatility with Bitcoin Cash, and we would have come down to this 220, 240 area. We've come down just about there, though. Yeah, so Bitcoin Cash... If anybody is in Bitcoin Cash, again, I love owning a lot of the OG coins. It's the nostalgia of it. There are coins that I do not see myself selling. I've told you guys, coins like Dash and Zcash and Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin, those are coins that, again, unless if something unprobabilistic happens and they pull a 100x from current price levels, I'm not planning on selling them. If they pull a 100x, then I'd be an idiot not to sell them. But no, they're just something that I plan to hold on to on my ledger. By the way, I got a new hardware wallet. Curious if you guys just got this in the mail. EliPal. I want to get a Trezor too, but I got an EliPal. I'm going to try this hardware wallet out. I don't know if you guys, anyone here have an EliPal? Drop me a comment if you guys have an EliPal because it's my first time using one, and I don't know if you have it and what your experience is like. Yeah, for Bitcoin Cash, relatively speaking, what I see happening, okay, we had this strong move up. Here, we're just going to see some kind of consolidation. Maybe we come all the way down to here, and then we're just going to continue making our moves up. That's what I see happening, okay, wherever we end up going. But let's see what else we got here. By the way, it's good to be back with you guys. Like I said in my my home office here, it's the one thing. It's the one thing that's hard about traveling. I mean, I think it's one of the things that I've appreciated. Oh wow, I don't have. That's weird. I'm really surprised by that. I had a Stargate chart. I saw Stargate was up. And I had a chart here, but I don't see it. It's really weird. Oh, I had it all charted out too. What the hell happened to that chart? I don't want to have to rechart this. I don't feel like doing that. Stargate is having a really nice day today. I had a chart saved, and I don't know what happened to it. That really pisses me off. We'll take a look at it real quick. So Stargate is having a nice day today. This is a project I had commented on, guys, that I would have established a position. I did a little bit of research on the project. It sounds promising, and also just I love the technicals on it, but I have so many. I feel like I'm already over diversified, so I didn't want to establish a new position. Right? I've had people. And I appreciate it, by the way. By the way, to all my supporters and everybody out there who tunes in every day. Continue to share projects with me. I really appreciate it. It's just at this point right now, unless something convincingly changes me otherwise, I own what I own. I don't see myself getting positioned in anything else, just because I'm already diversified enough. One of the things I really like to see on Stargate here, you can see this downward resistance. This is on a 3-day. We've broken up against it. You can see we've back tested it here, right? So really good price action on Stargate. Now, where would I look to start to see some resistance begin to come in here? Looks like there's an area right around there, 72 cents. Another, and again, there's zones. So maybe you say it's 71 cents, 71, 72 cents. It's all the same. There's another area here right around 85. So really we want to see Stargate. I think of my brother when I say Stargate because he used to watch the TV show and always wanted to get me into it, and I never got into it. 71 to 72 cents and then 85 cents. Okay, once we get above 85 cents, shit's going to start to get a lot more real, because then you're just talking about an area of resistance more towards like $1, 96 cents. Okay. Yeah, I wish the crypto gods would listen to me, because I would have loved YC for Bitcoin during a live stream to push above 31,000, because I would have stayed. Honestly, if we started to push above 31,000 with volume while I was live streaming, I would have stayed live indefinitely to see if we would have closed the day out pushing towards 35.5. Because again, once we clear that 31.5, I would say 31.5, 31.8. Once we clear that area with volume, 35.5 is on deck. That is my view. It's just, I'm not using my emotions saying that. You guys know that by now. I'm just using the charts. Track is saying Litecoin is holding the January, February, March. Okay, got a lot of months there, my friend. The January through May highs as new support. Let's take a look. Keen observation, my friend. Keen observation. For everyone new tuning in, if you don't know, there's this thing called a thumbs up button. If you hide the chat, you can hit the thumbs up button. By the way, I'm not going to promote super chats on this channel, but I believe now that I have officially been able to monetize my channel, people can super chat me. How exciting. All right, let's get... I hear someone knocking on my door. That is my Instacart grocery order. Trying to think if anything is refrigerated that's going to spoil. I don't know. We're just going to go with it anyway. Let's just hope nothing spoils. All right, so this is the monthly. I want to go down to a 2-week chart. Oh, wow. My friend, I see what you're saying. So I don't know what, quite frankly, I don't know what areas of what time frame I drew this on, but with the areas of price confluence, but this is what you're talking about. And actually on this time frame on a 2-week, I would draw it right there at 95. But again, what are we talking about, Track? First off, when you pull up charts on different time frames, you're going to get different areas of price confluence. But also, what are we talking about here? 95, 94 bucks? Like, we're splitting hairs, right? So let's keep it stupid simple. But Track raised a really good point. Look at Litecoin. I believe Litecoin's going to make a large move very soon. Litecoin, it already has made a large move, but it's going to make a larger move. Litecoin is holding this $95 as an area of support. And what Track is pointing out here, which is a great observation, look at the resistance. Look at the price wicks through here. Look at the rejection. You see that price, look at the price wicks going through 95. Price maintained itself, okay, in this area for the entire year. Look at that. For the entire year, we could not get above that area. Does that help to graphically depict what we're looking at here that Track pointed out? Now, we got the technical term for this green candle here is a green boner candle or a green Jesus candle. I mean, it's either or. But this candle right here, okay, this one right here, you can see it. I don't need to highlight it. It pushed right above it, okay? And now we're sitting above 95 cents, which is great. Hovering right around 100 bucks, right? Where do I see Litecoin going? Let's have a realistic conversation here. I think Litecoin is set to make a large move, in my opinion. Litecoin is setting up for a large move into this area. Right in here. So right between 147 and 227. I think you're going to see at some point shortly, and this is obviously going to be dictated by Bitcoin, but you're going to see a strong move into this area, this 147 to 227 area. Thanks for bringing that up, Track. I really appreciate it. DT in the house. I'm drinking tequila. You're having coffee. You know, this is what we do because of the time zones. Maybe sometime I'll make it out your way. You know, you never know. Glad to see you in here, man. You've been a supporter since the early days. That's all I can say. Since the very, very early days. Guys, remain patient. I wanted to make you aware that, let's take a look at Crypto AI. I wanted to make you aware that, yeah, so I'm done traveling for the week. I will be here every day live around the normal time, typically around 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, Fridays I tend to live stream at a different time, so make sure you click the bell icon for notifications. Wanted to give you a heads up on schedules before you tune out here. Next week I will be traveling to see my family. There will definitely not be a live stream on Monday next week, but I will do my best to get a live stream going on Sunday, the day before I take off to make up for Monday. And then I'm taking my laptop with me, so the audio may not be the best. I'll do the best I can. But even though I'm with my family, I still should be live streaming most of those days, Tuesday through Friday. And then I have a travel day back on the following Monday. And that next week, the week of the 24th, is when I'm also hoping to start getting some guests coming on the channel, and I'll be back with you guys on the 25th. So just to let you know, yeah, a little bit of travel, trying to enjoy time with the family, but we'll bring the laptop home and should be live streaming from my mom and dad's place up in the Northeast. So that should be interesting. But I hope everyone has a good evening. I will be back tomorrow. Charts are looking interesting. Again, keep in mind what I had said about Bitcoin, right? It's getting very, very interesting. This, to me, is ping pong action here. Something's got to give. We got that daily Bollinger Band that's pinching. We got a volume profile that says, fuck no, I'm not going below 29,600. Fuck you, crypto bears. You're not getting your 28,000. All right? And you got prices constantly hitting 31,000. To me, it looks like 31,000 wants to break very, very soon. Sooner rather than later. So I would not be shocked, like the Shockmaster, I would not be shocked if we break 31,000 this week and we have an exciting live stream. Guys, I really am hopeful that July is going to be as exciting as I'm anticipating it to be, because these live streams will be a lot more exciting. Especially as Bitcoin starts to, given that my thesis is correct, my general timeline is correct, as Bitcoin starts to get up into this area, Crypto Bull God's going to be in rare form. You're going to start to see Crypto Bull God come back to Crypto Bull God form from 2021. For those that were not here in 2021 and have no fucking clue what I'm talking about, you will find out. But I will begin to get very excited once we get up into that retail FOMO space, like my mom said, 50,000. CBG, I'm not interested in Bitcoin until 50,000. Well, Ma, I think it's going to be here sooner than you think. All right, guys, take care. Have a good evening. I'm going to make myself a stereotypical meal that most people think I eat every day, chicken and broccoli. Take care of yourself, spread awareness, and carry the education forward, and I will see you tomorrow.